everyone started running, so I go to the exit. But the earthquake was quickly escalating intensity, and the building felt like it was falling apart. It's the first time in my 25 years that I experienced something like that.
Gianfranco Amoni was getting ice cream at a mall in Caracas when he felt the first shakes of the 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes that hit Venezuela on Wednesday evening.
My first instinct was there was a rail, and I was seconds away from jumping to the floor downstairs. I was always looking at the ceiling. If the ceiling was starting to fall apart, I will jump and the ceiling wouldn't fall on me. The intensity of the earthquake was unbelievable. Everyone was like, okay, I'm gonna die. That's it. I'm here and I'm gonna die.
Like Amoni, Maria Josefa Maya said she had never felt an earthquake like this before. The second quake was the strongest earthquake to hit Venezuela since 1900. She had just returned home from a hike with her dog in a neighborhood in Caracas.
I think I was completely paralyzed. I could see my house doing this movement completely, like the whole house. It was really terrifying. There's two buildings that are in front of my house, and I heard people screaming. Of course, like if I felt that in my house, I cannot imagine people living in buildings, how they felt it. Maybe when I go back in my life, I always thought that I was gonna run and grab some things. I just grabbed my dog and that's it. Like I didn't care.
Veronica Elvidi received this video from her mum after the earthquake happened.
She was really in shock about what she was seeing. She was like trying to explain to us, like me and my sisters, that she was covered in all of this sand, all of this dust.
Certain areas like Elvidi's home, located further from the epicenter, survived the double earthquakes. But she says other municipalities, like her mum's located in Los Palos Grandes, saw entire buildings collapse.
So she was completely like shocked seeing that building, wondering, will mine be next? My pet is up there. Should I go up? Should I rescue my pet? Should I leave her alone? Will there be another earthquake? Currently, I have my mom with me. Her building, it was declared unlivable. And all of the buildings around her were declared unlivable too. So people are sleeping in like parks or like anywhere near that they can find comfort in a sort of way.
Now, the president of Venezuela's National Assembly says at least 2,900 families have lost their homes and the death toll is still climbing. But officials fear it could be in the thousands.
It's crazy that this was yesterday by the end of the day during a national holiday. And 1 hour later, everyone is helping out. Even if they lost everything, they're just willing to take out their hand and help you out in any ways.
Tony Frangi Mawad is a journalist in Caracas. Tony, can you take us back to where you were when the earthquake started? I understand you were in an elevator when it happened. What was that like?
Yeah. It was really scary. It was terrifying. I was about to leave to go to a bar to watch a World Cup match with my friends. We were like 15 of us about to go, and I was with one of them. So we got into the elevator, and the elevator simply started to move at first, so I thought it was malfunctioning. But then it started to move really violently and really fast all the way down. And my friend was like, okay, this is a quake. This is a quake. So I just started to pray and to press the bottom, hoping that it would open. And then it just went all the way down to the second basement, which opens in a parking lot. And we went out and ran outside into the garden, and we saw, for example, the plastic that covered the lights falling, and the birds just flying to the trees. And we saw how the first neighbors came out and stayed in the garden, and then my family also came out. Thankfully, our building didn't have any damage, and the area around us is mostly undamaged. But the area where we were actually going to watch the game did suffer major damages, and many buildings collapsed partially or completely in that area north of the city.
You were talking about when you got out. I'm curious what it sounded like in that moment.
It sounded like a big roar because everything was moving. Mm-hmm. And all the buildings were shaking in Caracas. I actually then saw some videos that people filmed in the mountains that surround the city, and the city was actually covered in a sort of dust cloud because of the collapses in other areas. But in my area, it just sounded like a big shake because of everything in movement, just like a big roar.
Do you get the sense that lots of people were sleeping outside just in case something else happened or more buildings came down?
Yeah, some people I know slept in cars, some slept in gardens, but even especially in northern part of the city where it was the biggest damage and where the earthquake struck the strongest, many people slept in boulevards, in squares, in parks, especially because many buildings have a lot of damage or minor damage, and people are afraid because you see cracks or you see just walls that fell, and now the apartments are open to the street. So many people are scared and slept outside. But the biggest damage actually was on the other side of the mountains that surround Caracas, where we have the Caribbean coast, and there's a city called La Guaira where the international airport is located, and La Guaira looks like a war zone. And the rescue efforts are still ongoing in La Guaira, where there's tens of thousands of missing people throughout the country. There's more than 40,000 missing people right now.
Okay, so that 40,000 missing people, your estimate, that is a terrifying number. Was Venezuela prepared for an emergency response that this requires?
Not at all. In fact, this number of the missing people come from an open source platform where citizens can directly report their missing loved ones because there's still not an official system to do this. In fact, the state has been kind of absent. We've seen mostly municipal authorities. There's also, a very weakened state with not much capacity to act after years of political crisis, of humanitarian crisis, of a major economic crisis. There's not enough tools, there's not enough equipment, there's not enough skilled people for rescues and rescue efforts. So you see just something that I find admiring, which is civil society, neighbors, schools, families just organizing and creating aid centers and bringing relief material and food and stuff for people, and just lending trucks and everything to support. But we're expecting that once the U.S. and other countries arrive with the help they're bringing, it will be a game changer, especially in La Guaira, where many people are still trapped.
Is that what people are counting on now? People from outside coming in?
Yeah, we're really on the expectation of that. France is sending a team, El Salvador is sending a team, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, especially the U.S. is even sending military groups and aid and rescue teams. So we're expecting that because, as I said, we don't have enough capacity or equipment or teams to do that. And now you see videos on social media, and there's whole buildings in La Guaira, for example, where people are just trapped and waiting, and there's still no rescue efforts because there's not enough capacity, not even from NGOs. There's even just people trapped with their bodies inside the rubbles, asking for help in the middle of what used to be buildings, and there's still no aid for them. So it's been a really, really horrible situation right now.
Well, to save lives, they all need to hurry up. Tony Frangi Mawad, thank you for taking the time tonight.
Thank you for having me.